What's up, everyone? Matt here with Down Once More. Welcome to another mini episode. It is our first episode of July and have something a little different coming at you today. I recently watched season 2 of The Bear, which is the FX series that came out on Hulu, and it is one of the best seasons of TV I've ever seen. And I mentioned it in another episode that I think FX just puts out some of the best series shows out there. And so I'm going to use a tier maker and make a list of what I think the best FX series are, my thoughts, what makes them great, ones that maybe have fell short of the mark, ones I haven't seen yet. And let us know in the comments if there's any that are on my list I haven't seen that I should prioritize and check out. So before we get into that, few orders of business. We did have a few comments on our last video. Shout out to you all with some suggestions of movies to go on our wheel for a July movie. We did spin the wheel. That will be at the end of the episode, so you can see what our July movie will be. And how we're going to do it, keep throwing suggestions. You can comment them on any of our videos or DM us on Instagram, comment on our Instagram post, movies that you want to see, and we're just going to have a dedicated fan wheel and slot on the overall wheel when we pick our movies. When a fan movie gets picked, it will get subbed out for another one in the wheel. So I just have like question marks on the wheel, and you'll see it at the end. If it lands on that, which did it this month, you'll have to see. Then I'll go over to the fan wheel and we'll spin that, and the movie that's selected there goes on our wheel, and that's what we do for that month. So bada bing, bada boom. Before I get into the FX tiers and series, just a heads up, I'm recording this on July 2nd. If you are in the US, Independence Day, July 4th is coming up. This episode is releasing on the 5th, so hopefully everyone still has all their limbs intact and celebrated appropriately. So, this mic is a pretty good mic. It picks up some background noise. If you hear things that make it sound like I'm in a war zone, don't worry, I'm not. It's just all the little shits in my neighborhood burning up their money. So, America. Fuck yeah. So, I'm going to go over to the tier list now. We're going to see how this works for the YouTube version. This is going to be a more YouTube-centric episode, but I will describe what we have and what is going on. So, here we go. We are going to screen share. And I have not done it through Riverside before, so we are testing things. That's what we used to record this. Fun fact. I do not need audio from that tab. Alrighty. Here we go. Nice little ad in the corner, which I will maybe try and edit out if I can. All right. So the categories I have, I'm going to place these in, are elite, the ones I think are the best of the best. I'm going to limit that to 3 series. I'll make up the rules as we go, but that's what we're going to start at. Great, good, okay, trash. Ones I've liked what I've seen. So I haven't finished the series, but I've liked the episodes I've seen so far. Ultimate first world problems. There's so many things to watch that I have not finished everything. And the ones I've never seen. That doesn't mean I don't want to see them, but there are a number of these. As I was going through FX's website and everything and pulling down the episodes and getting thumbnails and everything for it, I have not heard of a ton of these, but some of them look really interesting. I will note I excluded documentaries and comedy specials on here. And if you want, you can go to tiermaker.com, the website, and you can make your own list from here. I created one on here. So TV tier lists, boom, it's in here. All right. I'm just going to start as they're on here and go through that. American Horror Stories, the anthology series spinoff of American Horror Story. Never seen it. Archer. Archer is the animated spy movie, the guy from Bob's Burgers. And I have not finished it, but I'm going to include it on the list because I've watched like the first 8 seasons. And I'm going to put it in the great category. I don't think it's quite elite. It has some pretty juvenile humor, raunchy animated comedy about a bumbling spy, and it is hilarious. It is one of my favorite animated adult comedies, which is a whole new genre that I think has not whole new. It's been going on for a while, but I think it's just increasing in popularity more that have been coming out. So Archer, recommend, especially first few seasons are great. I need to pick it back up. Next, A Teacher, Kate Mara. I've not seen this. I believe it is one about a teacher that has an affair with a student. Never seen it. Goes in that category. Bastard Executioner. I remember hearing of this, and it looks very interesting, but never watched it. Never seen. Kindred, another new one on FX. Not seen it. Tyrant, also not seen. The Premise, also not seen. It looked really interesting. It's an anthology series from BJ Novak, who was Ryan in The Office. It has Ben Platt and a number of other people in it. But I think, if I remember right, now I could be completely off on these, so don't hold it against me. It's many stories and it's set kind of in COVID times and stuff like that. So I don't know if it'll hit, and I don't remember hearing much about it with who created it, BJ Novak, and some of the people in the cast. That leads me to believe it wasn't great. Fargo. I have watched about half of the first season, and then I just got caught up in other series. I loved what I saw of it so far. And it's one that's on my list I need to go back to now that I'm kind of between series since Succession's over. I've been rewatching Always Sunny. I started The Idol, and that movie is or shows hot garbage. And The Weeknd, or he's going by his real name, Abel, cannot act. Garbage. But Fargo, like what I've seen, need to go back to it. Hans Verdun, have not seen. I've heard it's decent. Great cast with Michelle Williams and Sam Rockwell. Justified with Timothy Olyphant. I think this is great. This is a perfect role for him as a marshal, a U.S. Marshal in Kentucky, Raylan Givens. He kind of plays the person who plays the opposite of him is Boyd Crowder is the character, and now I'm blanking on the actor's name, but he shows up in a lot of these FX series on Sons of Anarchy and The Shield, and here in Justified, and he's in Righteous Gemstones, and his name is, well, that's just a completely different series. Walton Goggins. Apologize for not remembering Walton Goggins' name. He plays Baby Billy on Righteous Gemstones, which this season of Righteous Gemstones over on HBO has been great so far. Danny McBride, Adam Devine, they are all just crushing it. So good. Justified is such a good series, kind of like a modern Western almost. So good, and they're doing like a sequel series now that the original series has been over for 8 years. Justified City Primeval, that is an older version of Raylan that's coming out later this year, and I'm really excited for that. So Justified, great. Snowfall, I've seen bits and pieces of this. I've liked what I've seen. It's on my list to go back to. Have not watched it yet. Little Demon, animated one with Danny DeVito and his daughter. We're in it. Aubrey Plaza has a voice role too, about this girl that discovers she's Satan's daughter. And it's another adult animated thing, but this one, I couldn't get into it. I didn't finish it, but I didn't like what I've seen. It's just going in the okay category. It wasn't awful. Didn't love it. Didn't hate it. Okay. The Riches. Heard of it, never seen it. American Crime Story Impeachment, never seen it. Man Seeking Woman, never seen it. Feud, never seen it. The Americans, like what I've seen of it so far. Kerry Russell and their Russian spies. They're spies in Russia? No, I think they're Russian spies. Um, that shows you. I watched the first few episodes of this when it came out. This whole episode is just going to make me sound like an idiot. But watched few episodes when it came out and really enjoyed it. But again, there's just so much good TV on that I have just not come back to it. Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. Never seen it. Never heard of it. The Bridge. Diane Kruger. Like what I've seen of it. Never finished it. Didn't watch enough that I can put it in a category. Wilfred. I watched the majority of this. I didn't finish it, but I'm putting it in the good category. It's basically Elijah Wood. He views this man in a dog costume as the dog, and it's got some great moments, but it was hit or miss for me when I watched it, but I put it in the good category. Taboo with... Dude, this is a bad day for me and people's names. And Tom Hardy, not seen it, heard good things. Mayans MC, the spinoff of Sons of Anarchy. I've watched the first season and a half of this, and I like what I've seen, but that's a lie. I've only watched like 4 episodes. I don't know why I said season and a half. I've only watched 4 episodes. I really like what I've seen. I don't feel like I can categorize it well enough because I haven't seen enough. Y: The Last Man, have not seen. The Patient, have not seen. Y: The Last Man was one. FX has a partnership where Disney bought out Fox and they own Hulu too. It's one of the series that is a Hulu exclusive. Y: The Last Man is only on Hulu. I know season 2 of The Bear dropped all at once on Hulu. I don't know if that's a Hulu exclusive. I'm assuming it is now. Pose, never seen. Fleischman is in Trouble, never seen. Legion, which is actually a Marvel property, takes place in the X-Men universe. Well, not in the X-Men movie universe, but they're characters from the X-Men comic universe. And I really like what I've seen. It's very kind of trippy and unique, but have not seen enough to rank it in a category. Pistol, never seen, heard good things. Mr. In Between, never seen. Cake, I had not even heard of this. It's apparently an animated anthology comedy series. Carriers, never seen. Lights Out, never seen or heard of it. Trust, never heard of it. What We Do in the Shadows is going to go... It may go to Elite, but right now it's great. This series is based off the Taika Waititi movie of the same name, What We Do in the Shadows. Taika Waititi, Jermaine Clement, some other people. So good. They're doing like a documentary, kind of Office style. They have cameras following them around. They do talking heads with the camera, where they're kind of describing what's going on. And it follows this group of vampires. And there is Laszlo, Nadja, and... Dude, I have drank nothing today, and I am just garbage. He's played by Matt Berry. Dun, da, da, da. His name is... Oh, duh, that one's Laszlo. Nandor is the one I forgot. That's why I couldn't think of his name, because I had him switched up. I apologize. This is a garbage podcast to listen to because I can't remember jack shit. Hopefully it's somewhat interesting. Also, it's probably sucks because I haven't seen almost all of these so far. But I wanted to be consistent, and I wanted to make it on Tier Maker and have all the FX series because I want other people to use it and see what they thought. Breeders, never seen. Reservation Dogs, it is on my list to watch. It's a Taika Waititi series on a Native American reservation, and it looked really interesting. Hadn't watched it. This one, Lady of Narcissus, no idea what that is. Never heard of it. Devs, heard of it. Have not watched it. The Bear. The Bear is going in Elite for right now. They've knocked it out of the park. I know it's still ongoing. I know they only have 2 seasons so far, but they just put out, I'm not going to give spoilers, but they just put out a perfect second season of television. Like, perfect. The first season was pretty much nonstop anxiety of working in this kitchen and Jeremy Allen White, character of Carmy, coming to take over his brother's restaurant after his brother committed suicide. And so it's just the anxiety of everything going wrong there, getting the crew together, getting everyone to understand, because he was this very classically trained and famous chef. And now he's coming to take over this little Chicago beef restaurant. And it was so good. The anxiety levels are so high in season 1, though. In season 2, the anxiety scaled back a little bit. And it has some of the best character development that I have seen in a season 2 of a series. Like, it was perfect setup, gets you to know these people more, get more of a glimpse in their life, just show you more about why they work, why they move their characters forward, and I loved it. So it is an elite for right now. Damages, never seen. I know what it is. Glenn Close, seen bits and pieces. Sons of Anarchy, I really enjoyed. I'm going to put it at great for now. Some of these are going to creep up to elite possibly, but Sons of Anarchy, so intense. Charlie Hunnam and Ron Perlman do a great job in it. So does all the supporting cast. It is a fantastic cast, fantastic series. And the finale seriously brought me to tears. It is so good. They finished it really well, I felt like, for the character's arc. And that is rare on some of these, that they have a good finishing shot of it. Dicktown, looks like an adult animated thing. Never heard of it. Great Expectations, never heard of it. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is going in my elite tier for right now. They are committed for seasons that will make them the longest running sitcom ever. And they just don't, they obviously do miss, but more often than not, they don't. They are in season 16 right now. They're committed through season 18. And this season, 16 seasons in, has been so good. They have had some character development. This is a series about shitty people. I've heard some people, I've never watched Seinfeld. That's a confession here. I've heard some people compare It's Always Sunny and say it's a little more like raunchy and trashy Seinfeld. And I'll take them at their word of what they say, because I have not seen it. But I love It's Always Sunny. It has, I just watched this morning because I'm currently doing a rewatch. I think it's season 11. Nope, it's season 12. The opening episode is The Gang Turns Black, where they're watching The Wiz struck by lightning, and it's like a quantum leap scenario, how they refer to it as, where everyone else sees them as these black people when they're interacting with each other, they themselves. And it is a very interesting and unique kind of social commentary on it. It is a musical episode as well, which they have some fantastic musical episodes. So see, it all ties together. It's so good. I love It's Always Sunny. It is probably my favorite sitcom of all time. So it goes in the elite category for now. Again, these only represent my opinions, not the opinions of Rayleigh. Class of 09, that is a new series on Hulu and FX, the partnership that I have not watched yet. Thumbnail looks interesting, decent cast. Brian Tyree Hill and Kate Mara in it. Atlanta, I love what I've seen of it so far. It is a fantastic cast, very interesting premise. I just have not watched enough to rank it. It's one of those that got away from me as well. Christmas Carol, never seen. The Old Man, never seen. Great cast. Heard pretty good things about it. The League. The League goes in my great category as well. Almost everything is going to be elite or great, I feel like, for me. So maybe this is a shitty thing to tier, but I just want to talk through all the FX series too. A group of guys that have a fantasy football league, and that is kind of the main thing that holds it together. But mainly, it's just the hijinks that they get into. It does have Steve Ranazizi in it, who famously lied about being in one of the Twin Towers. So that's what kind of haunted him. But this is where I first was introduced to Jason Mantzoukas and Paul Scheer, who are two of the hosts of How Did This Get Made, which is one of my favorite podcasts. They watch kind of crappy movies and they talk about it, and they just have a good time with it, not in a making fun of way, but just enjoy the absurdity and appreciate it for what it is. So that podcast, highly recommend. Paul Scheer, Jason Mantzoukas, and Diane Ray Fiel. They have some guests. I mentioned it on the Fast 10 episode that they did one on Fast Furious with Seth Rogen. That was a great episode. But the League, it also has I'm just done trying to say people's names on this. It has John LaJoy. John LaJoy? I don't know how you pronounce his name. So I really should just be done with people's names on as well. He plays Taco, not what I named my dog after. Katie Aselton in it, Mark Duplass, and Nick Kroll. It is a fantastic cast. So entertaining, so funny. Highly recommend. Mrs. America. Never heard of it. Married. Never heard of it. You're the Worst. This one, I was thinking about it as I put it together, and I was struggling where to put it. I'm putting it in the good category. I loved season 1. It is one of these two shitty people hook up with each other, kind of have a connection, don't want to be a couple, be a thing, but they're just so shitty and they're drawn to each other, and it is very funny. It gets very emotional and serious in the later seasons. But dealing with depression, anxiety, other things like that, different mental disorders that tackle some serious subjects and things that are going on, but still has the comedy at the heart. But I felt like it kind of lost its way in the later seasons. I think it only did 3 or 4 seasons of it, but the later ones were more hit or miss for me. But I love everyone in this cast. Really enjoyed the first season, and so it's just going in the good category. Keeps it out of great. The kind of all over the place the later season. Baskets, Zach Galifianakis. Never seen it. Better Things, Pamela Adlon. I only watched the first episode, so I can't really put it in like what I've seen. I love Pamela Adlon. She is fantastic in Californication. This, if I'm remembering right, she's a single mom, has some kids, and it's kind of following her journey, but seemed interesting, just wasn't for me at the time. Dave goes in the great category. Season 1 and season 3 are absolutely fantastic. I've said this multiple times. Episode 5 of season 1, Hype Man, where it follows Gata, who is his real life hype man and is bipolar, following him, his history, his story, is one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen. And then episode 9, Allie's Toast, is another one of my favorite episodes I've ever seen, and one that just has such absurdity in it and then such emotional depth and heart. And then season 2 was pretty hit or miss for me. There's a couple great episodes. Most of them are just okay, and some are just not great, in my opinion. Season 3, consistent throughout, just fantastic. I loved it. The finale was so good. Some incredible cameos in the season. They had Chloe Bennett joins the cast, and she is so good in it. So I knew her from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. first, but she is so good in this show. So if you haven't watched Dave, watch it. It is so weird and unique, and seeing Dave Bird, Lil Dicky's brain, how it works, so cool. Love it. The Shield. Shield goes in my great category too. It is Michael Chiklis. He plays a dirty cop. He has a team. Walton Goggins is in that too. He has one of his members of his team, and just everything that goes through it is so dark, so gritty. Um, but man, I loved it. I binge watched this. I've seen it twice now. Watched it front to back. Highly recommend it. It is some of it is disturbing because these are dirty cops. They're doing drugs, hookers, planting evidence, all this shit. Sketchy people, but very engaging, on the edge of your seat with it. Very cool character development for different people throughout it. So, highly recommend The Shield. It goes in my great category. Nip Tuck, never seen. Um, American Horror Story, I think is just going in the okay category for me. This is one, when the first season came out, it was so unique and so different from anything else that it just kind of sucked me in and I really liked it. After that, though, I feel like it has been so inconsistent and all over the place, and I've fallen off, tried to come back in. I feel like it's just okay. And I actually feel like, the more I'm looking at it, I don't feel like I should have Wilfred in the good category. I don't know that enough. Say I like what I've seen. So moving that back down. Rescue Me. Never seen it. Heard good things. Full Monty. Never heard of it. That's apparently a new one. American Crime Story. People vs. O.J. Simpson. Never actually watched it. Heard good things. The Strain. It is a kind of unique take on vampire virus plague movie. I really liked what I saw of it, and I watched 2.5 of the 3 seasons so far. I need to go back and finish it, but it goes in the good category for me. It is very well done. It is very unique. It is different than other things you've kind of seen before. Kind of different take on the plague, zombie, vampire genre, kind of mashes them all up. I really enjoyed it, and I need to go back and rewatch it now. That's really the whole point of this whole thing, is to get me to rewatch things. Oh, no, I'll finish this and then I'll do the other thing that I didn't mention because I have literally one left. Under the Banner of Heaven, Andrew Garfield. I have not seen it. I want to. I've heard such good things about it. Just like The Patient. Rayleigh had talked about that one of our mini episodes on one of her lists. Actually, I think it was on a vocal warm up where she talked about it. That was so good, and she was hooked, sucked into it. So, The Patient, Under the Banner of Heaven, those are two I need to watch. And so they will make it somewhere at some point. I just haven't seen them yet. So the more I look at it, I have a lot of work to do. But right now, I have The Bear and Always Sunny in my elite category. I am going to move. I said I could do 3 there. Probably going to get some hate for this from one of my 30 listeners. I'm going to move The Shield up there. I actually enjoy The Shield more than Sons of Anarchy. I think for what it is, as the seasons go on and everything we get from it, it is almost a perfect show. It is very dark. Sons of Anarchy is so good, such good characters, but are some times in the middle where it kind of dips for me. When they go to Ireland and everything like that, didn't care for as much. And there's some characters I just absolutely hate in it, like Tara, and I'm blanking on it, but his mom, Gemma. I could not stand those two. They are very important to the story. It is still an overall great series. The Ireland arc and those two characters keep it out of being elite for me, but the Shield goes up there. I was debating between the Shield and What We Do in the Shadows, but I think because the Shield is complete and I can rank it on as a whole, that's what made it just squeak over What We Do in the Shadows. And I already have a comedy up there in Always Sunny, so that gives me a drama crime one. The Bear is technically classified as a comedy, and I don't know in what world it classifies as a comedy. I would say it is more a drama. It has some funny elements, but you're more stressed out than anything when you're watching it. So Final list: The Bear, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and The Shield at the elite level. Great. We have Archer, Justified, What We Do in the Shadows, Sons of Anarchy, The League, and Dave. Good. We have You're the Worst and The Strain. Okay. We have Little Demon and American Horror Story. Trash. We have nothing. Like What I've Seen, we have Fargo, Snowfall, The Americans, The Bridge, Mayans, MC, Legion, Atlanta, and Wilfred. So, and I'm not going to read through. There are a ton I've never seen that I need to. Out of those ones I'm prioritizing to watch, that I really want to see: The Patient, Under the Banner of Heaven, The Old Man. I have heard really good things about those. And so those are ones I need to watch, but I want to finish Atlanta first and probably Mayans. Mayans I tried to start right after Sons of Anarchy, and I'm like, this is just a lot of this world. It is a very intense show as well. So, stop sharing. We are going to go back here and wrap up this episode. Went a little over half an hour. Not what I wanted to do. What I was going to point out at the beginning that I didn't. I have a new sign. It says "fuck off," and it is the background now. It's not as clear as I was hoping it would be. So I might tweak around with placement and what I do with that. But that is my new addition to this podcast space. And I'm going to insert our wheel spin in here so you can see what happened, where it went. I'm going to open it alongside me as I do it, and then I'll edit it in as I go. So let's go. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why I'm doing more of this as I'm watching. So on the list, we had Prince of Egypt, In the Heights, Chicago, a slot for a listener pick, Cyrano, Grease 2, The Last 5 Years. So those are the 7 slices of our wheel. Like I mentioned before, if something lands on listener pick, then we go over to our listener wheel. Right now, it has Chicago, which would be our second Chicago thing. So it's got 2 chances on there right now. We have Repo, the Genetic Opera, and we have Spamalot. Spamalot is a submission that I think it's good to have on here. There's some weird ways to watch it. It's not you can't rent it. It is in full on YouTube and on Vimeo, but we'll see if that gets selected. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. I just spoiled that Dang It pick today. But wheel spin, wheel spin, wheel spin. And then it lands on Cyrano. So this is the movie version with Peter Dinklage and, I want to say it's Haley Bennett is in it. Let's see if I'm right. I am right. It is Haley Bennett. Look at me go. This is currently streaming. It was on Amazon Prime. When I looked at the time of recording this, it was off. It is on Paramount Plus now. So it is available to stream for free, but only on Paramount Plus. And then you can also rent it, buy it on digital. But that is what we will be discussing at the end of July. Cyrano, the musical version with Peter Dinklage and Haley Bennett that came out in 2022. Not the older version about the guy with the big nose who was in love with his cousin. This one has far less incest. I would even go so far to say it has 0 incest, which is always a plus. On that note, that's going to wrap up this mini episode, and tune in to our socials to find out what's coming next. Sometime this month we will have a mini episode from Rayleigh with a new Little Mermaid review, and so that will be coming in hot. And thanks for tuning in for this very chaotic this very chaotic episode. It has been a long day. I had a family reunion this morning. It was good. It was good. It was great. It was great. Only some minor shitty comments, and none of them by me. So yay me. But my brain is fried. It is later in the day. We're going to wrap it up. I'm going to stop rambling like a bumbling idiot and just say thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, share, all that fun stuff. We love you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to go down once more. Later.